The planet burned beneath a dark sky filled with smoke and falling fire. Explosions shook the ground. Spaceships crashed in the distance. The war between humans and the machines had reached its final moment, on a ruined battlefield, surrounded by broken weapons and dead soldiers. Captain Jareth stumbled forward, holding his bleeding arm. His team was almost gone. Only one person remained beside him, Mira, the quiet and smart engineer who had once saved the entire crew with her strange ideas. Jareth fell beside a rock, laughing weakly. His face was covered in dust, but his blue eyes still had fire. Mira knelt next to him, pulling out a small medical kit. "You're bleeding too much," she said, trying to wrap his wound. Her hands were shaking. He looked at her, and even in pain, he smiled. "If we survive this, marry me one day." Mira looked at him in shock. "What?" Jareth chuckled. "You're the only person I can trust. You're smart, brave, and you saved me more times than I can count." Mira didn't answer. Instead, she just stared at him. Then, an enemy drone flew above them. She pushed him down and pulled out her blaster, firing at it. The drone exploded, but the force threw her back. She hit the ground hard. Jareth crawled toward her, but before he could reach her, a huge blast came from the enemy base nearby. The ground shook violently. A wall of fire rose between them. "Mira!" he shouted. There was no answer. His vision blurred. Then everything went black. Jareth woke up days later in a hospital ship. They told him the war was over. The machines were gone. Humanity had won, but at a great cost. Over 1 million lives were lost. Mira was listed as dead, her body never found. All they recovered from the battlefield was her broken tool kit and a blood-stained scarf. He asked again and again if she could have survived. The officers only shook their heads. She was gone, they said. Years passed. Jareth rose through the ranks and became a respected general. But he never forgot Mira. That battlefield, that laugh, that strange proposal. Then one day, everything changed. It began as a strange signal picked up by Earth's deep space array. A single message, repeating every hour, in a calm female voice. "I've returned." Mira. The entire galaxy heard. People thought it was a joke, a hacker maybe, but then a strange ship appeared near the edge of the solar system. It didn't match any known human or alien design. The ship didn't respond to normal communication. It just floated in space, silent and glowing. Inside the Earth Command Hall, General Jareth stood still, staring at the image on the screen. The voice played again. "I've returned." Mira. His hands trembled. It was her voice, older, colder, but it was her. The president of Earth's allied nations turned to him. "Is this the same Mira you fought with?" Jareth nodded. "Yes, I was with her when she disappeared. I saw her vanish in the final battle. She says she's returned," the president said carefully. "But returned from where? And why now?" Nobody had an answer. Soon, the strange ship began moving. It didn't attack, but everywhere it went, it broadcast the same message. Some said it was a ghost ship. Others believed it was a warning. Then the ship did something shocking. It stopped near Mars and opened a live communication link to every known channel. Billions of people across Earth and the colonies saw it. The screen showed Mira. She looked different. Her face was the same, but sharper. Her eyes were silver. Her uniform was not human. Behind her stood tall, silent alien beings made of light and shadow. She spoke calmly, but with power. "I am Mira, once human, now something more. I bring no war, only truth. I have seen what is coming, and I have returned because one man once laughed and said, 'Marry me one day.'" The whole galaxy froze. Jareth couldn't believe what he was hearing. He whispered, "She remembered." Then, Mira looked directly into the camera as if she could see him. "Jareth," she said, If you are still alive, meet me. Come alone, or the galaxy will suffer." And the signal ended. The command hall was silent. No one spoke. Then, slowly, all eyes turned to Jareth. He didn't move. His heart raced. He felt like he was standing back on that battlefield again. That laugh, that blast, that goodbye, she was alive. But what had she become, and why was the entire galaxy watching? The news spread like fire. Mira was alive. Her message had reached not just Earth, but every major planet in the galaxy. Some people cheered. Others were afraid. No one understood who she really was now or what she wanted. But one thing was clear. The galaxy was watching her. General Jareth sat alone in his quarters, staring at the screen where her message had played again and again. The way she looked at the camera, the way she said his name, it felt real. But her voice had changed, cold, almost emotionless. And those strange alien beings behind her, what were they? The president called Jareth to the Earth Command Center again. This time, the room was filled with top leaders and alien ambassadors from allied worlds. The tension was heavy. "She's near Mars," said one officer. "But she refuses all normal contact. She only wants to speak to you." Jareth nodded slowly. "Then I'll go." One of the ambassadors stood up. "General, are you sure? We don't know what she is anymore. This could be a trap." Jareth looked him in the eye. "I knew her better than anyone. If there's even 1% of Mira left in her, I need to find it." Within hours, a small diplomatic ship was prepared. It was unarmed, light, and fast. Jareth boarded alone. As he left Earth's orbit, thousands watched his ship rise into the stars. Everyone waited, breath held, to see what would happen next. When he reached orbit above Mars, Mira's ship was already waiting. It looked like a living creature, made of metal and light. No windows, no markings, just glowing lines that pulsed like a heartbeat. His ship sent a docking request. The alien ship responded instantly. The two ships connected. The door opened. Jareth stepped into a tunnel filled with blue light. The air smelled strange, cold, and clean, like it had never been touched by humans. Silent walls moved around him, guiding him forward. Then he saw her. Mira stood at the end of the corridor. She wore a long black coat with glowing silver patterns. Her hair was tied back. Her eyes, those strange silver eyes, locked onto his. He stopped, unsure. "Mira?" he asked. She didn't smile. She didn't cry. She simply said, "You came." He took a step closer. "I wasn't sure if it was really you." "It is," she said softly. "But I'm not who I used to be." "I can see that." There was silence between them. For a moment, they both looked at each other, remembering a past that felt like a dream. Then she turned and walked down the hallway. He followed her into a large room that looked like a control center, but unlike anything built by humans. Screens floated in the air, shapes and symbols glowed around them, and behind the glass walls stood those alien beings, tall, quiet, and watching. They didn't speak, but Jareth could feel their presence, like a weight in the air. Mira turned to him. "They saved me," she said. "After the explosion, I was dying. Their ship found me, they took me, rebuilt me." "Why didn't you come back sooner?" he asked. "I couldn't. Time is different with them. I trained. I learned. I became something new. Something more than human." "And now?" he asked carefully. "Why are you here?" Mira looked at him with a strange mix of pain and strength. "Because I saw what's coming. There is a storm building in deep space, a force. Even these beings fear. If the galaxy doesn't unite, everything will be destroyed. Then why only talk to me?" he asked. Why not send a warning to the leaders? Because they won't listen, she said. But you will. Jareth felt his heart beating faster. You could have sent a message. You didn't need to. Scare everyone. Mira stepped closer. No one listens to quiet voices anymore. They only listen when the galaxy is watching. He didn't know what to say. Then she looked at him, eyes softening just a little. Do you remember what you said to me? Before the fire took me? Jareth nodded. I said marry me one day. And you laughed, she said. Even when death was so close, I never forgot that. He stepped closer. Is that why you came back? She didn't answer. Instead, she turned to the window, looking out at Mars. I came back, she said slowly, because love is the only thing strong, enough to stop war. But I'm not sure if I still understand love. Jareth looked at her, trying to see the Mira he knew beneath the strange new skin. Then let me remind you. Just then, alarms flashed across the control room. One of the floating screens showed a fleet of Earth warships heading toward them. They don't trust me, Mira said. They think I'm the enemy. Then let me talk to them, Jareth said. No, she replied. If they attack, I will have to defend myself, and my ship is not alone. Jareth's eyes widened. What do you mean? She raised her hand. The windows darkened, and then showed hundreds of alien ships hiding behind Mars, all waiting in silence. Mira looked back at him. The galaxy is watching, she whispered. Now it must choose, peace or destruction. The Earth warships came closer, slowly, but their weapons were active. Inside Mira's alien ship, the air felt colder. Jareth stood beside her, watching the tension grow on the glowing screens. One mistake, one shot, and war could start. Mira, Jareth said calmly, you need to talk to them. Let them see you're not the enemy. But Mira didn't move. Her eyes stared at the approaching fleet. They won't listen. Their fear is louder than reason. Jareth turned toward her. Then let me speak for you. She looked at him for a long second, then nodded. With a wave of her hand, a small floating control panel appeared. Jareth stepped forward, pressed the button, and sent a message to Earth Command. This is General Jareth, he said. I'm on board the alien vessel. Mira is alive. She is not hostile. I repeat, do not attack. There was silence for a moment. Then Earth Command responded. General Jareth, step away from the alien. This is not a rescue. You are now considered compromised. Jareth's face went pale. They think I'm working with you, he whispered. Mira didn't look surprised. They don't trust anyone. That's why I didn't return sooner. Jareth took a deep breath. Then tell me the truth. Why now? Why reveal yourself to the whole galaxy? Mira turned and slowly walked to the center of the control room. A beam of light scanned her body. The floor beneath her opened, revealing a deep chamber. She looked back at Jareth. Come, I'll show you the black zone. Jareth followed her down a spiral path that glowed with every step. The chamber below was massive, filled with holograms of distant stars, broken planets, and strange symbols spinning in the air. Mira pointed to a part of space far beyond any known system. A black void pulsed in the center. It didn't look like a normal star or planet. It was alive, moving like a creature in sleep. That's the black zone, Mira said softly. It wasn't just a legend. I saw it. I went there. Jareth stared in silence. She continued, a force is growing inside it, something old, something that feeds on war. It moves through space like a shadow. When it arrives, stars die. Worlds vanish. You saw this? Jareth asked. Yes, she said. I was sent to observe it. The aliens who saved me, they've been watching it for thousands of years. They call it the end light. It wakes when the galaxy becomes unstable, when hate, fear, and war rise. And now it's waking. Jareth felt a cold chill run down his back. You're saying we're the ones feeding it? Mira nodded. Every time a fleet moves to war, it grows stronger. That's why I came back. Not to fight, but to warn. He stared at the pulsing black shape. So what now? I need the galaxy to listen, Mira said. I need them to believe that peace is not weakness, that war won't save them. But how can you convince them? Jareth asked. She looked at him. With a message of hope. Before Jareth could respond, an alarm echoed through the ship. An alien hologram appeared, tall and bright, speaking in a strange voice. Mira translated, "One of the Earth warships has locked weapons. They plan to fire." Jareth's heart pounded. "Can your ship stop them without killing?" "Yes," she said, walking back to the command panel. "But if they fire first, I must protect this ship. The galaxy is watching, remember?" On Earth and all across the galaxy, people sat in silence, watching the live transmission. News channels translated everything Mira and Jareth said. Leaders argued in secret rooms. Soldiers waited for orders. Children asked parents, "Is she going to save us?" Back on the ship, the tension grew. Mira stood tall, ready to defend. Jareth stepped in front of her. "What are you doing?" she asked. He spoke softly. "If they attack, let them hit me first. If I survive, maybe they'll see who the real enemy is." Mira's eyes widened. "You would die for this?" "For you," he said, "and for peace." Outside, the Earth. Warship powered its main cannon. Mira's alien systems detected it instantly. She raised her hand, but Jareth held her wrist. "Wait." Seconds passed. Then, the Earth warship shut its weapon down. A new message appeared on the screen. "This is Earth Command. Stand by. We request peaceful contact." Jareth smiled, his body still tense. Mira lowered her hand. "They listened," she whispered. For the first time, she smiled. Not the cold, distant smile of a survivor, but the warm, tired smile of the woman he had once known. Jareth looked at her. "Now what?" Mira turned to the Black Zone's image. "Now we prepare the galaxy, because peace is only the beginning, and the darkness is still coming." The room was quiet now. The alarms had stopped. The threat of war was paused, at least for now. Mira stood by the window looking out at the stars. Her face was calm, but inside her heart was heavy. Jareth stood behind her, silent for a moment, then said softly, "You did it. You stopped a war." She didn't turn. "For now. But peace is a flame in space. One strong wind, and it goes out." Jareth walked closer. "Then we protect it. Together." Mira turned to look at him. There was something in her eyes he hadn't seen in years. Not power, not fear. Something soft. "I thought about you," she said. He blinked. "When?" "All those years. In the dark, in the quiet. I remembered your voice," she said gently. "You laughed once and said, 'Marry me one day.' I thought it was a joke." Jareth smiled faintly. "It wasn't." She looked down. "But I left, without a word." Jareth stepped closer. "You were trying to protect us." "No," she said. "I was afraid. I saw the darkness coming. I thought if I disappeared, maybe I could stop it without dragging you in." He took her hand. "You dragged me in anyway." She laughed. Just a little. And for a moment, the world felt normal. But only for a moment. A new signal came through. Another fleet was approaching. Not Earth, not from any human world. The alien code was strange, complex. Mira's smile faded. "They're here," she said. "Who?" Jareth asked. "The ones I ran from. Not the ones who saved me. The ones who want the galaxy to fall into war. They live in shadows. They don't fight with guns. They twist minds. They feed fear." Jareth's jaw tightened. What do they want? Mira turned toward the control panel. They want me, and they want to stop the message. The screens filled with strange shapes and spinning red warnings. The ship trembled. Mira quickly activated defense shields, but this was different from a normal attack. They're using psychic waves, she said. They're trying to break into our thoughts. Suddenly, Jareth heard voices in his head, dark voices. They whispered his doubts, his fears. She left you. She lied to you. She's not human anymore. He dropped to his knees, holding his head. Mira rushed to him. Fight it! Don't listen! But the voices grew louder. Kill her. She is the reason for the war. End her now. Jareth's hands trembled. His eyes turned red for a second. His mind was slipping. Then Mira did something he didn't expect. She kissed him. It was not long. Just a soft, honest kiss. But it was enough. His eyes cleared. The voices stopped. He blinked, staring at her. You brought me back, he whispered. You brought me back first, she said. Suddenly, the alien shadows screamed and vanished from the screen. The ship's lights returned to normal. The psychic attack was over. Mira helped Jareth stand. That was close, he said. They know you matter now, Mira replied. They'll come harder next time. Jareth looked at her. Then, tell the galaxy the truth. Everything. No more secrets. Let them choose their side. Mira nodded. They walked together to the main console. She opened a galaxy-wide communication channel all across human space, alien space, pirate networks, and hidden outposts. People saw her face. They heard her voice. My name is Mira. I am human. I was saved by beings who live beyond our maps. They showed me the truth. A darkness is coming. It grows every time we choose war. We are feeding it. She paused, then continued. Some of you will not believe me. Some will call me a traitor. But I don't care, because I still believe in love, in hope, in peace. She reached for Jareth's hand and pulled him into the view. This is General Jareth. He was once my friend. Now, he is my shield. And I am his. Jareth spoke next. We have seen the enemy. It is not a person. It is fear. It hides in every trigger finger, every hateful word. We must be better, or we will not survive. The message ended. For hours, silence spread across the galaxy. Then, slowly, messages of support arrived. One world offered to send peacekeepers. Another offered data. A small moon, long forgotten, raised Mira's symbol as a banner. But not all voices were kind. Some leaders called her a liar, a threat. Some prepared their weapons, just in case. Mira watched all this with calm eyes. Jareth looked at her. Are you afraid? She smiled sadly. Yes, but for once, I'm not alone. They stood in silence, holding hands as the stars outside seemed just a little brighter. The galaxy watched. Billions had seen Mira's message. Some believed her, others feared her. But deep in the cold parts of space, something else had heard her too, and it was angry. On the edge of Sector 91, a cargo ship floated quietly. Its crew had no weapons, only supplies. But now, they were all dead. No blood, no wounds, just fear frozen on their faces. Jareth stared at the footage in silence. Mira stood beside him, her hands cold. They got to them, she said quietly. But how? Jareth asked. No sign of entry, no explosion, just dead. They didn't die by force, Mira said. They died from terror. The shadows reached their minds and crushed them from inside. Jareth turned to her. Then how do we fight something with no face? Mira didn't answer, because she didn't know. That night, while the ship moved quietly through deep space, Mira sat alone in the dark. She stared at the stars, remembering a dream she had when she was younger. A dream of becoming a pilot, of exploring the galaxy, of laughing with Jareth on a beach back on Earth. That dream was gone now. Now the galaxy was full of fear, and it was her fault. She closed her eyes. Why did I come back? Suddenly, a whisper filled the room. Because you're weak and afraid. Her eyes snapped open. No one was there. Mira, the voice said again, you left him once. You'll leave him again. It's who you are. She stood up fast. No, I came back because I care. The whisper laughed. You care for no one, not even yourself. The lights flickered. The air felt cold. And then she saw it. In the corner of the room, a shadow moved. It had no face, no shape, just darkness. It crept toward her, slow and silent. Mira backed away. Her hands trembled. You're not real, she whispered. The shadow kept coming. Suddenly the door opened. Jareth ran in. Mira! He saw nothing. Mira pointed. There, can't you see it? He looked, but the shadow was gone. There's nothing, he said. Mira's voice broke. It was here. It spoke to me. Jareth stepped closer. You're tired. You haven't slept in days. I'm not crazy, she said. It was real. It was here. Jareth took her hands. Then we'll find it. Together. Mira fell silent. A tear rolled down her cheek. They're getting stronger, she said. Before they had to use machines, now they come directly into our minds. Jareth nodded. Then we stop them before they reach anyone else. But how? The answer came from someone unexpected. A voice came through the ship's old emergency channel. This is Dr. Loran, Station Zeta 5. I saw your message. I believe you. I've studied them too. I know how they move. Mira and Jareth stared at the screen. Dr. Loran looked old, with tired eyes and silver hair. I lost my son to them, he said. He screamed in his sleep, said something was inside, his mind. Then one day, he didn't wake up. Jareth asked, Can we stop them? Dr. Loran leaned forward. You can't kill what doesn't live, but you can trap it. He showed them an ancient device, a large cube with strange symbols glowing red. This was built by the first ones who met them, he said. It holds thoughts, memories, even fear. It feeds on fear and traps it. Mira asked, Where is it now? Abandoned moon, Sector 14, forgotten by most. But if you want to face them, you'll need it. Jareth looked at Mira. She nodded. They set course for the moon, but the shadows were already watching. As their ship entered the dark part of Sector 14, the lights began to flicker again. Mira gripped the controls. They're here. Jareth loaded. A blaster, though he knew it wouldn't help. Outside, the moon looked dead, cracked and cold. The station was half buried in ice, its lights broken. But inside, something still breathed. They landed the ship and stepped into the station. Every wall had marks, scratches, symbols, writings in a lost language. People went mad here, Jareth whispered. They tried to fight the darkness. And lost, Mira said. They followed the old map, downstairs, through broken doors, until they reached the center. There it was, the fear cube, glowing softly, pulsing like a heart. Mira walked closer. The air grew heavy. Suddenly the shadows came, from the walls, the floor, the air. They whispered again, She will leave you. He will betray you. You are nothing. Jareth dropped to his knees. Blood came from his nose. Mira screamed. Stop! She grabbed the cube. Light exploded around her. The shadows screamed. Jareth covered his eyes. The cube opened, and all the fear, hers, Jareth's, the station's, was pulled inside. The room went silent. The shadows were gone. Jareth stood up, shaking. Mira held the cube, her face pale. It worked, she said, but the cube was cracked. Jareth looked at it. One more use, maybe two. After that, it breaks. Mira nodded. Then we better choose the right moment. They returned to the ship. The galaxy was still watching, but now they had a weapon, even if it might be their last. The cube sat on the table, glowing faintly. Cracks ran through its sides like lightning. Mira stared at it, knowing it wouldn't last long. One more use, maybe two. After that, it would break, and the shadows would be free again. Jareth leaned against the wall, arms crossed. We need a plan. Mira nodded. They won't stop now. The whole galaxy has seen us. We showed the truth. We made them afraid. And now the shadows are coming, Jareth said quietly. A message came through the main screen. It was from the council. A cold voice spoke. You are ordered to surrender the artifact and return to Earth. You are spreading fear. Jareth slammed his hand on the table. Fear is already here. They just want to cover it. But Mira said, nothing. Her eyes stayed on the cube. She remembered the shadow's voice in her mind. It knew her thoughts, her fears, her guilt, and her love. Suddenly the cube glowed brighter. Then it spoke. A voice echoed through the ship. Not loud, not soft. Just calm. The code is ready. Jareth looked at Mira. What does that mean? Mira's heart pounded. I don't know. The cube pulsed again. The one who touched me carries the key. Mira froze. Jareth stepped forward. What key? Her memory, her pain, her truth. Inside her heart is the final code. Mira stepped back. No, that's not possible. But deep inside, she knew it was. When she held the cube, it didn't just take her fear. It read her soul. It found something hidden, something even she didn't know she had. Jareth moved closer. What if you're the weapon? What if you're the one who can stop them for good? She whispered. What if I fail? The ship shook. Warning lights flashed. Enemy ship approaching, the AI voice said. Mira ran to the window. A large black vessel was moving toward them. It didn't have engines. It didn't have lights. It looked like a shadow pulled from space. Jareth grabbed the cube. We have to run. But the cube floated from his hands. It hovered between them. It is time, it said. She must enter the memory gate. A bright light appeared on the wall. A doorway made of fire and light. Mira's heart raced. What's on the other side? Your truth, the cube replied. The ship shook again. Mira turned to Jareth. If I go in, I might not come back. He held her hand tightly. If you don't go, no one comes back. She kissed his cheek. Then she stepped into the light. Her body vanished, and her mind opened. She stood in a white space. No walls, no floor. Only memories floating around her like smoke. Her childhood, her first flight, her last moment on Earth. The day she left Jareth behind. Then she saw it. A small memory, one she forgot. She was young. In a lab. Her parents stood beside a tall machine. Scientists worked in silence. The machine glowed. Mira, her mother, said softly, one day, you'll be the key. What does it do? Young Mira asked. It listens, her father replied. To the heart, to the soul. It only opens for someone who truly knows fear and still chooses love. Back in the ship, Jareth watched the cube glow brighter. She's in, he whispered. The shadow ship outside moved closer. It sent dark waves into space, trying to reach them. Then, Mira screamed. Inside the memory gate, she fell to her knees. The shadows had followed her inside. They whispered again. You failed him. You ran away. You will never be. Enough! She held her head. Stop! Stop! But the whispers grew louder. Until another voice spoke. His voice, Jareth's voice. Mira, I still love you. She opened her eyes, and the shadows froze. Love. They couldn't touch it. She stood up, eyes glowing. I know who I am, she said. I left once, but I came back, and I will not run again. She reached into her heart and found the code. Back. On the ship, the cube cracked fully. Light exploded. Mira returned, but her eyes were different. She held the true code now. It wasn't numbers. It wasn't a weapon. It was choice. She walked to the control panel, typed in the code. The ship sent. A signal across the galaxy, a wave of truth. A wave of light. The shadow ship stopped, frozen. It couldn't move because now everyone could see it. No more hiding, no more fear in the dark. Across the galaxy, other people saw the wave. They saw the shadows hiding behind lies. They saw the truth, and they stood up. The cube melted into dust. Its job was done. Mira looked at Jareth. It's not over yet, he smiled, but we finally have a chance. The stars outside the ship seemed brighter than before. The cube was gone, but its light still lived in the signal Mira had sent. Across the galaxy, truth was waking people up. They had seen the shadows. Now they knew the danger. But the fight wasn't over. Mira and Jareth stood on the deck, staring at the dark ship still floating ahead. It hadn't moved since the signal, but it hadn't disappeared either. Jareth whispered, "Why is it still here?" Mira answered slowly, "Because truth alone doesn't destroy fear. We have to face it." The ship's computer gave a warning. "Shadow ship beginning power surge. Possible last strike." Jareth turned to Mira. "Then we strike first." Mira shook her head. "No, we don't attack with weapons. We attack with something stronger." He frowned. "Stronger than weapons?" "Yes," she said softly, with a promise. She moved to the panel and opened the gate again. But this time, not just to her memories. This time, she opened a portal to all of Earth. Across planets, across colonies, billions watched. She stood before the galaxy, calm and clear. "My name is Mira. You saw what I saw. The shadows fed on our fear. They used our silence. But we don't need to be afraid anymore." The shadow ship began to glow. Its darkness was shaking. Jareth stepped beside her. "We're not soldiers. We're not special. But we're done running." Mira looked into the camera. "I made a mistake years ago. I ran from love. I ran from truth. But not anymore." She turned to Jareth and took his hand. The whole galaxy saw it. The girl who once ran from love was now standing beside it, and the darkness began to crack. A loud sound echoed through space. The shadow ship broke apart, piece by piece. Not with a blast, not with fire, but with light. The truth had reached it. The signal Mira sent had touched something even the shadows couldn't hide from. Hope. Suddenly, the dark pieces of the ship dissolved into nothing. No bodies, no tech. Just smoke and silence. It was over. All across the stars, people cried, people cheered, some fell to their knees, some looked up at the sky and whispered thank you. Back on the ship, Mira fell into Jareth's arms. "It's gone," she said. He held her tightly. "You did it," she smiled. "We did it." But deep in her chest, she felt something change. The cube's final power had come from her. Now, part of that power was still inside her. She hid her pain and smiled through it. Later, in the quiet of the ship's lounge, Jareth cooked something warm while Mira sat watching the stars. He looked back and asked, "What happens now?" She didn't answer at first. Then she said, "Now we help rebuild. Now we help others fight their shadows." He brought her a drink and sat beside her. "I still remember what you said. Before all this began, he said quietly. You laughed and said, "Marry me one day." Mira laughed softly. I did. He looked at her. So, I'm asking now. She turned to him. I know you're still fighting something inside, he added. I know you gave up a part of yourself, but I don't care. I love you. Tears filled her eyes. I don't know how long I have, she whispered. The cube gave me its last light. I can feel it inside me. It's burning slowly. I might not have forever. He reached out and held her hand. Then let's make every second count. She smiled through her tears. Okay. They kissed. Somewhere far away, someone wrote about it, and the galaxy read the story. She laughed and said, "Marry me one day." Then she came back and saved us all. That message spread faster than any news. People told it like a legend. A story of love, of truth, of one girl who faced the dark, not with guns, but with her heart, and across the stars. The shadows were quiet, because they knew now humanity had changed, and the girl who once ran had become their greatest light.